Hi, I'm Jess.
And I'm Ryan.
And we are the Iggy Parents! Welcome to the show.
It's the Iggy Parents.
This is officially the start of summer.
Yeah, we've just celebrated the start of summer here in recording land. And when you're listening to it, it's probably also summer, unless you're very far in the future. Hi, future people. Hi.
We also are celebrating Giraffe Day. It's a very important day for us.
Because Adelaide is the world's tiniest howling giraffe.
You can see this on her Instagram.
Yeah.
Side-by-side photos of her and the giraffe with the legs tucked under, her with a giraffe in her mouth, howling.
Her dressed as a giraffe.
Oh, yes. That was her Halloween costume.
Yeah.
Her very first Halloween costume.
Mm-hmm.
So, for many reasons, she is a giraffe, and we wanted to celebrate on June 21st, Giraffe Day. Also, coming up is our 1-year anniversary with Adelaide. Gotcha Day.
Gotcha Day. I love that Iggy Parents look for reasons to celebrate.
Oh, yeah. We celebrated her birthday.
Yeah.
May 8th.
Yep.
But now we also are going to celebrate Gotcha Day.
July 6th.
So what did we do to celebrate her birthday, Ryan?
We went live and had a little virtual birthday party because we were in quarantine, so we couldn't have like a dog park or a Iggy meetup or anything. So we went live and we had a bunch of people come on and they were wishing her happy birthday, and that's when we released the bag.
Yeah, Adelaide's first merch.
Her tote bag, it says, "I'm all ears."
With all the different ears that she has.
How appropriate for Iggy Parents that now have a podcast.
I'm all ears. It's adorable.
Yeah.
But I made her a cake. Was going to try and make a recipe, but then it was just too much. So I took the bottom of a cake pan, flipped it over, covered it in saran wrap, and then smeared peanut butter all over it, and carefully placed chicken, rotisserie chicken, and I sort of like spread it out so it looked like little flowers. And then,
right, yes.
Blueberries, even though she didn't eat them, she just picked them off. The hard, crunchy codskins, we put that around the side.
And then you wrote one with the Crump's Natural Trainers, the little
liver.
tiny ones that she likes.
The tiny ones to draw out the one. So I know we've got a picture of that on our Instagram if you want to check into that. But we definitely went all out for her birthday. We got her a new harness, new leash, matching the harness, and a new toy. The one with the giraffes. We got her the puzzle toy.
Right.
So I don't know about Gotcha Day, if we're going to go as full out.
But that is the planned release of the podcast.
Yeah, this is our big plan. So if you do anything special to celebrate your Iggies or your puppies, let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Love all the tips. Let's chat about summer, Ryan.
It's been great. It's been so much better because we started quarantine here in Ontario, Canada, in March, and are basically still in it because we're in Toronto. So, we're
going to be the slowest to come back.
Yeah, it's been the slowest to come back. So, we started and we're really having trouble with her having too much energy and not being able to get out and feeling uncomfortable about going out for walks and things. But now that the dog parks have been open, that's just been the best.
She loves other dogs. It's her favorite thing in the world.
It really is, yeah.
Not that she doesn't love us, but,
She does leave us in the dust, though, when she sees other dogs.
Absolutely.
At the dog park. It's like, you guys will still be here when I get back, right? Okay, see ya!
She just trusts we'll be there, which is, a good thing, I think. We've also had the chance to have some puppy dates.
Yeah, that's been so
season,
fun.
So
it really is. I'm noticing it more and more, right? It's one of those things. It's like when you buy a new car, you see that model of car all over. When you're thinking about getting a new puppy, you notice puppies all over the place.
Absolutely. All breeds.
Yeah.
But we've had the chance to meet friends of ours now. New little Iggy from the same breeder.
Yes.
A very unique looking Iggy.
Mm-hmm. She's all white, but with a blue or gray for those who aren't studied in the vernacular of the colors of Iggies. But so like a gray Iggy, they call that blue.
Because you got to be cool. It can't just be gray. It's
yeah,
be
she's
blue.
not brown. She's seal.
She's seal.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Adelaide is.
So yeah, we've made new friends with a little girl, Iggy, named Ghost. She's got a white body and blue head.
Yes.
And then her boyfriend, she's already got a boyfriend, is a dapple dachshund named Levi.
Yeah.
And he's adorable. And we've just been having play dates. It's been really great.
Yeah. And then Maisie and Rue and Bean
yes.
at Trinity
Oh my
Bellwoods. Going to meet up with a bunch of floofy dogs. So
Adelaide's not as welcomed by the floofy dogs. She loves all of them.
Yeah.
But she's a little weird to them. So she tries to make her way in, but sometimes the socializing is us holding her while she watches them play.
Yeah. And then in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be going to visit my family up in Muskoka, cottage country of Ontario. And we're going to try to introduce Adelaide to the water. When she went just at the end of last summer, she had a little taste of putting her paws in the tiny little waves, but now we're going to see how she actually likes it.
I think she tried to drink the water last time. It was just a big, big bowl of water.
Big bowl of water.
Big bowl. She's like, what is this? Let me lick it and I'll find out.
Yeah.
She's very courageous and curious.
All right. So shall we get into our main topic?
Yeah, main topic for today. Our top 5 summer tips. A City Iggy's Guide to Summer. So from our perspective, these are our tips that we've come up with so far at the start of summer. Mm-hmm. We may find more on our own, and we have some suggestions of things to think about as well.
And this is also just our first real summer because we got Adelaide in July of last year, but you can't take any puppy out until they've had all of their vaccines. So we're really learning all of this for the first time, even though she's a year old, it's fun. It means there's new things happening for us all the time.
Yeah, and she can experience more. So it wasn't that we weren't taking her out, but she wasn't able to meet all of the dogs that she sees and wasn't able to go to the dog park. So now she's in full summer mode.
Tip number 1?
Tip number 1.
Sunscreen.
Sunscreen.
Who would have known?
I didn't know.
Nope. Had no idea. But these dogs have such thin fur in some vulnerable areas. We mostly put sunscreen on the top of her nose and on her chest because that's where she's got white fur. And then kind of if you pet her, you can feel that the fur is a little thinner there. So it's more likely that the sun's going to get there and cause a burn. And there's been a couple of days at the beginning of summer where we've forgotten, and you can notice that it's a little pink.
Yeah, we can sometimes tell that her skin gets pink when she puts herself under some blankets and we pull her out after.
Right, kind of an internal heat.
Wow, she's warm. She's actually really warm. But we can tell after she spent time in the sun, they do suggest using sunscreen on dogs, just like for humans, to prevent burns and even skin cancer. It's a reality for just about anything under the sun.
Mm-hmm. But there's a specific kind or specific things to look out for when you're looking for sunscreen for your dogs.
Yes. So we talked about where to put it, on her snoot, on her chest.
Yeah.
That's great. And any of those sensitive areas you can tell.
Mm-hmm. But
the type of sunscreen is also important. So you want to look for a sunscreen that is PABA-free, para-amino benzoic acid, PABA-free, and it has to be free of zinc oxide. So those are the two things, PABA-free and free of zinc oxide.
Are they toxic to dogs? Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Those ingredients can be toxic to dogs. So even though humans are allowed to use sunscreen with those ingredients.
Right, even babies. So the sunscreen that we did end up getting her is a child sunscreen, but there was 2 child sunscreens. Both were PABA-free, and only one of them was zinc-free. So we really had to look closely at the description and the ingredients.
So far, so good. And Adelaide hasn't tried to lick it off of her face or anything.
No.
So, and I know her tongue can definitely reach all around her snoot. So she's purposely not eating it, which is good.
Yeah. And the one other thing to say about it is that, like we said, when I was young, We fostered a guide dog that was a lab cross, and Jess grew up with a Jack Russell Terrier, and neither of them we ever used sunscreen on that we knew. I mean, we were kids, but
correct me, Mom and Dad, if you're listening, but I don't think that we did.
So it's specific breeds that need it. The other two that came to mind was Chinese crested and hairless dogs, like American Hairless Terrier and the Zolo.
Xolo? I think it's Xolo.
Xolo? The Mexican
Pretty sure.
hairless.
Yeah, correct us on that pronunciation if you have a Mexican hairless dog. But I think it's Xolo.
Okay. But they need it as well because they really have zero protection, just like humans.
Absolutely. You don't have to bathe your dog in the sunscreen, but definitely putting it on those sensitive areas. Good idea, especially for Iggy's. Point number 2, top tip, going to the dog park. So as city dogs, like we had just said, Adelaide's been cooped up in the apartment. We want to do something fun for her. Bringing her to the dog park is one of our number 1 things to do. It gets her out socializing.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what to say about this because it feels like a lot of people have negative experiences with Iggy's at the dog park, so I don't know how to make this advice.
I would say bringing your dog to the dog park is not going to be the same every time you go. So our tip of going to the dog park is going to the dog park and assessing the situation. Because sometimes we go to the park and there's too many big dogs and some of them are puppies. And even though they're puppies, they're still much bigger than her. So today we had an incident where we first entered the park and it's such a weird thing that happened, but there's a bird in this particular park that is attacking humans.
I think it's protecting a nest.
It's protecting a nest, but it's this black bird with a red stripe. I saw it. I don't know what kind of bird this is.
I think it's a red-winged blackbird.
So this bird has been attacking humans that walk by the nest. And as we entered the park, someone was getting attacked by this bird. A red-winged blackbird. Yeah, it looked like that to me.
Yep.
Ryan just pulled up a photo for me to see. So, yeah, this person was getting attacked by this bird. And we got distracted because, 1, I don't want to get attacked by a bird. 2, I'd already seen other people getting attacked by this bird. So now this is like the 2nd or 3rd time I've seen it because last time we were at this same park it happened. 3rd thing, I don't want the bird to attack the dog. There's dogs around.
Right.
And Adelaide's very tiny. That bird could really hurt her. So I thought, okay, let's start walking into the park and draw Adelaide with us. Come on, Adelaide, let's go. Come here. I'd practice touch. But there were these 2 big dogs that came running from the other side of the park and had this playful energy. I could tell one of them was a husky puppy. So he went up to her and they were sniffing each other, and then he sort of started to paw at her. And normally she goes into a little down position to protect herself, and she did. And then he kind of left her alone for a second, and then she started coming, and I was like, great, Adelaide, come here. Then he stopped her again, and this time put a paw on her back, and she went down, and she did the very famous Iggy scream.
That is the longest and loudest that I've ever heard that.
Yeah.
So usually she startles herself and then kind of yelps and
a little bit of crying,
yeah,
wincing.
But this was you're in my personal space, leave me alone.
Yeah,
like it was kind of directed at that dog.
It sounded almost like her howls.
Mm-hmm.
I could see her mouth was open.
She's been practicing for this moment.
Yes, she has been practicing to say, hands off, get away from me.
Yeah.
But it's scary. And of course, your parent instinct goes up, and I ran towards her and scooped her up, and then she was fine, and there was no sign of her being hurt. But she was very, very scared. Mm-hmm. And that's not like her.
Yeah, so then we kind of walked around the edge of the park, and she just stuck right by us. That she didn't want to go and play with the dogs at all. And she's normally the first to go greet the dogs, and she wanted to be out of the park. She was really looking at the dogs that were kind of running around the field that's right next to the dog park, the enclosed dog park. So we leashed her up and we took her out. And then she got to meet a couple of little cute chihuahuas, and a 3-month-old Shiba Inu puppy, and
It was great.
And she was happy. She was again going to greet the new dogs as they were coming. So she was kind of back to being herself.
Her social self.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was our first experience of her really being afraid of another dog, and with good reason. So I regret that I was distracted by this bird, this human attacking bird.
But she's been so great. Like, I think because she has so much confidence, it's given us confidence. But like you said, we need to assess the situation every time we go.
So that would be,
she's vulnerable.
That would be the number one advice I'd say for any Iggy owners out there. Please do go to the dog park, but just check it out. If there's too many big dogs, step away. And sometimes it's not even the big dogs that are going to be the threats to your dog. It could be a small dog that also has been cooped up in quarantine and maybe just doesn't get along with puppies. I know for us, we have to, again, assess the situation, see what the personalities are like, and if the dogs just aren't gelling, get out of there as soon as you can. So I don't want to scare people away from the dog park, but I also don't want to say it's all sunshine and roses when there are some big dogs that could hurt your little baby.
Yeah, because I feel like maybe a month ago, our advice might have been, it's 100% great experience every time. But there's been times when she has no one to play with, she's uninterested, or she will go and kind of bother people. If somebody's wearing a dress, she wants to jump at the person, or if they have treats, sometimes she won't leave them alone. Or, which leads into our next tip, the off-leash trails that we have just been introduced to. Here in Toronto, we have some off-leash trails in High Park, have been great for us because it's exercise for us. And then it's kind of fenced off, these big long trails, like multiple kilometers long. And but we need to, again, be diligent about watching her. One of the things that she has been getting up to when she kind of has free reign and there's people around is jump up at little kids.
Yeah, toddlers, it's her favorite thing because they're around her height when she stands on her hind legs.
Yeah.
So she feels like they're going to play with her. And that's not always the case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so High Park is amazing. I really would advise you practice recall with your dog if you're going to do an off-leash trail, just because not having them come back to you is going to be very scary when you're going into an area that's not... I mean, it is fenced off, but there are sometimes holes that Iggies can slip through.
For sure. It's a problem for small dogs. The infrastructure is built to keep big dogs contained.
And we learned that Adelaide loves to run ahead. So we need to recall her back because she wants to lunge ahead. And if she goes too far in the distance, there may be a family, there may be a toddler, and then she'll jump up and we won't be able to stop her.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's one of the things that we found, that she is definitely better with recall than she used to be.
Yes.
But once she gets focused on something, it's 99 times harder. That was a weird way to say that. It's way harder to get her attention back once she's focused on somebody with treats or a toddler that she wants to go play with, or another dog.
I would highly recommend going to an off-leash trail as an alternative to dog parks. So we said dog park as an option, be careful, but it is possible to have a really great time. Off-leash trails, also be careful, but practicing recall is a great addition for that.
Mm-hmm. If you heard our last episode 1 about our top tips, that was one of the things that I wanted to add, that recall can be one of the most valuable skills.
But it might be easier for some than others.
Yeah, right.
So,
the little puppy that we met today, a little Chihuahua, just would recall like nobody's business.
And the Chihuahua also has a sibling, and that sibling, half and half, does recall.
Yeah.
So the owner is doing the same amount of training with both of them, but one seems to be more receptive than the other to the training.
Yeah, the more that we meet other dog owners and the more that we train Adelaide, hi, she just heard her name when I said that. The more we're noticing every dog has their strengths.
Definitely.
Okay, tip number 4.
Hydration.
Got to keep hydrated.
So, I mean, just like humans, got to drink when you're spending lots of hours in the sun, hours outside, summertime, humidity. Keep your body hydrated.
Mhm.
Got to keep your dog hydrated.
And you got to watch your Iggy because they want to be hot,
Yes.
right? They want to lie in the sun. They want to like stay all bundled up. They want to stay warm. So that is when, as humans, we're most vulnerable to being dehydrated, and same with them.
So I find that Adelaide doesn't always want to drink when we go out, again, dog park, off-leash trails. I feel like she doesn't always come back to us for a drink, but then when someone else's owner pulls out their water, she goes beeline straight to the water.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about it, and it doesn't seem to be that she prefers a certain type of water bottle. It just is someone else is giving it, so it's exciting. So I've been trying to really make it exciting when I take out the water dish. We have a bottle that the lid becomes a bowl. And she will come back to it if she's really thirsty, but sometimes she just doesn't care for it. But we still have to have it on us at all times. And my extra tip on that would be keep an extra water bottle that maybe the humans are using so that you can refill your small bottle for your dog. Number 5.
Pavement in the city.
This is definitely a city dog problem.
Yeah, but it can be very important that, again, they can be very sensitive. So if the sun's been out during the day and your Iggy is going to be walking on the sidewalk or the pavement or wherever, the trails, you got to make sure the pavement is not too hot for their paws. So the tip that we heard is take the back of your hand and hold it on the ground. And if you can't stand the heat for 5 seconds, then it's too much for the dog.
Too hot.
It's too hot.
So in that case, I'd say pick up your dog and then place them back on the ground when there's grass or maybe an area that has not been soaked up in the sun for a while.
Or if you have rain boots for them, you could use those.
I have seen lots of cute Italian greyhounds on Instagram wearing rain boots. In the middle of summer, it seems strange, but hey, keep your feet protected. Also, on that note, what to do if your dog's feet do get a little chafed or burnt. I've been seeing coconut oil as a great solution. We used that for Adelaide a few times after the dog park.
Mm-hmm. I was actually noticing that her feet are a little bit dry.
They are a little dry.
Today.
So I'd say using coconut oil because it's not harmful if they lick their paws after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do put it on her food sometimes just to entice her to eat it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that, or there's sometimes specific balms made for dogs.
Mm-hmm. We have yet to try those out, but
if you have any recommendations, we'd love some because coconut oil is working for now, but in case there's like a balm like on a stick, something easier to apply,
right,
that'd be great. These have been our 5 top summer tips. Let's repeat that one more time. 1, sunscreen. Apply sunscreen to your dog only in specific areas if they're going to be out in the sun for a while. 2,
dog parks. It can be a great experience for the dogs, but you got to be on guard and follow your Iggy's lead.
Yes. 3, off-leash trails. So again, if the dog park's not for you, totally understand that. Iggies are fragile, can be. And the off-leash trail might be a great alternative. And
you can get some exercise because we usually go and kind of sit on a bench and wait for Adelaide to be tired and come back to us. But
at the dog park.
At the dog park, yes.
But on the trails, you got a boogie.
We got to keep up.
Absolutely. Number 4, hydration.
Keep yourself and your dog hydrated.
Bring extra water and make it exciting. Number 5.
Check the pavement in your city.
Make sure it's not too hot for the little feetsies. So those are our city tips for city Iggies.
And now we have some bonus tips.
So before we get to the bonus tips about dogs that aren't in the city, let's talk about that one city thing
Taking your dog in your car?
Cars, absolutely. So I'm sure you've experienced this or seen this, that a dog in a hot car is in a lot of danger. If you ever see this, we actually have heard from one of our Instagram friends that they called 911 when they saw a dog in a hot car and the situation was remedied.
Mm-hmm.
But it is something to think about. It's illegal for most areas. I don't know, of course, the laws for the world, but our region, you can't leave a dog in a hot car. It gets too hot. They can't breathe. Overheated. Dangerous.
The one thing that I have seen and heard about is that Teslas have a dog mode that you can set the car and there's a big screen in the middle and it will say, "Don't worry, I'm fine. My owner will be right back. The car's at 20 degrees or whatever you have it set at to keep them comfortable." Not sure about the laws of that, but
yeah, is that idling your car? Does it keep the car on?
Yes, but Teslas are electric cars.
Oh,
so
right.
They don't have an engine.
Of course. So technology for the win.
Yeah.
If you see a Tesla, it might tell you what the temperature is inside the car and tell you that the dog's okay. I love that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tesla. This is not sponsored by Tesla.
No, I wish.
We've been looking into how to keep Adelaide safe in the car when we're traveling.
So I did a poll on the Toronto Iggy Society Facebook group to see what people, how they travel with their dogs. And the most popular result was crate in the back seat, and next was belted in the back seat. And then we've got a few people that have a car seat or a hammock. Those seem to be the most popular ways to travel with the dog. We looked up the laws in Ontario because this had us thinking about how we should be traveling with Adelaide and how we should be keeping her safe. And the two rules, or the one rule is that she can't be the driver's responsibility.
So she can't be on the driver's lap.
But the Ontario SPCA recommends having them belted or crated.
In the back seat.
Yeah.
So we've seen crates in the front seat and people placing their dog on their lap in the passenger seat, whether in the front or back. But biggest recommendation we've seen is crate in the back or belted.
Which
in
is
some way.
the crate in the back is what we always do when we have her on the highway. And because we give her a treat and a chew and she usually just puts herself right to sleep. Sometimes she's trying to claw out and is not super happy to be there. But if she's had enough exercise, she gets comfortable and goes right to sleep.
Yeah. But I'm interested in finding an alternative that she can look out the window.
Yeah.
So there seem to be little bucket seats that your dog can still look out the window, but they're safely secured inside. And I think Adelaide would look very cute in one of those. So if you don't live in a city, these tips are not necessarily your number 5 or number 6 tips, because maybe pavement is not a concern, dog parks aren't a concern. I would still say sunscreen is very important no matter whether you're in a city or not. And hydration, of course. One of the fun things I've been seeing is when your dog gets overheated, what do you do? So Honey, the Iggy, adorable Iggy, likes to play Frisbee a lot, which is amazing. She's very athletic, but then she gets really hot outside. So we've been seeing her technique to cool down is to bathe herself in a tub of water. So definitely go check out Honey the Iggy's Instagram if you want to see this. But it's a little Iggy in a full tub of water just for her outside. And I would say that would be great for any Iggy who's not afraid of water. Some Iggy's are. But if you're not afraid of water, definitely just dunking your whole body in the water and maybe moving that tub into the shade as well to get out of the sun for a little bit. Love that inspiration. And if Adelaide gets overheated in the sun and we've got a tub of water kicking around, I'd say let's do it.
I'm trying to think of what situation we would have. I guess the biggest thing would be going to the lake.
Right. Or my parents' backyard.
Right, but do they have a tub of water?
We'd find one, Ryan.
Okay.
We would find
You
one.
do what you have to for your Iggy.
You do anything and everything. Even if a bird is going to attack your head.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned today.
It is also flea and tick season now that we're getting into summer. So our vet has given us a new medication for this year. It's a combination that covers fleas and ticks and heartworm for her. So we just give it to her once a month, and we have it for 6 months here to cover the summertime.
Yeah, so even being in the city, still got to worry about fleas and ticks, and it's good to have medication to help prevent that. Something for the outdoors that may or may not happen for city or outside of the city Iggy's specifically are bee stings. So I've been seeing on Instagram lots of Iggy's sadly getting stung by bees.
Oh.
And sometimes they can even have a reaction to it. I'm guessing it's like humans that you can be allergic to bee stings.
Do they kind of swell up?
They swell up and it doesn't look pretty.
I haven't seen that, but
It looks pretty painful. So I would say prevention. Just try your best to avoid bees. If you see your dog looking at something that looks like a bee's nest, get away from that. And I know you can't prevent everything, but definitely just keep your eye out for bees. And if they're looking to bite them, try and scoop your dog away. Something I was thinking about was potentially wildlife. If you don't live in the city and you live outside of the city, I've heard things in the wildlife to be concerned about, even hawks or different animals that might be a cause of concern for your Iggy. I don't have experience with that, but something I was thinking about as well. If you spend a lot of time outside in the wilderness.
yeah, I feel like one of our tips, again from our last episode about raising an Iggy, was to kind of give them constant supervision or somehow set boundaries for them, and I think that also applies outside. It's kind of a thread through all of the tips that we've given. I think that's it for our tips.
I think that is it for all of our tips. If you have tips, let us know.
Right. We've been learning even since we've posted it in the last few weeks from the Iggy community online. So if you have something that we haven't mentioned, please let us know.
Pupdates.
So we've had a bit of an exciting few days here for Adelaide that we are dealing with a couple of things that we've never dealt with before. She has thrown up for the first time in the last couple of days. So
First time since she has thrown up before.
Right.
But it's been a long time.
Yes. Sorry.
I can't even remember, other than when she had kennel cough.
So we're thinking the problem might be this new chew, this new kind of treat we've got her that's a pig's ear, and I think we made the mistake of leaving it in the crate with her, that she just kind of eats too much of it, makes herself sick.
Yeah. So we've been giving it to her in small doses to try and prevent that.
Again, when she's being supervised. So when she's with us here on the couch and not just overnight having a midnight snack, eat the whole thing.
Yeah. It's funny because these chew toys, like a bully stick or a pig's ear, sometimes she'll take 2 weeks to finish one, and other times she'll finish it in a day. And I think that's where the problem's coming, when she can finish it in a day.
Yeah.
And
a little more good news.
Yes. We have been, ever since we've been walking outside with Adelaide, we've used a harness because we've noticed already that she tends to pull when she sees other dogs. So the thought of using a collar, we were nervous about her small neck. We've heard that, especially with Iggy's, because their necks are so thin, that they can sort of choke themselves. And the other thing is that they can escape from collars. So another suggestion is the martingale collar. Do you want to explain what that is, Ryan? It's
a collar that will tighten if they pull, but only tightens to a certain diameter. So it then tightens so that it's not going to slip over their head, but it's not like a choke chain or a slip collar that it tightens all the way up. It's just that it gives them a little more freedom unless they're pulling, in which case they can't then get it off of their neck.
Yeah, so it's a safer option for collars when it comes to them not slipping out and hopefully not choking.
Yeah, and we've also ordered a wide collar to see the difference. We've seen lots of people who have, these are from Collars of Sweden. Sorry, I don't know if you
I don't think
said
I mentioned.
That. And
we've been eyeing them up for as long as we have had Adelaide.
Really,
we've seen
yeah.
Colors of Sweden. So many Iggy's online have them. They look gorgeous.
So a lot of them that we have seen have been these wide collars, but we knew that there was martingales and they were having a sale on a certain kind of wide collar. So we're getting both.
So excited.
Yeah.
And another purchase we've made online is a purchase. This is a hopeful wish that we're going to make this purchase. But there is a company or an artist, Harriet Lowther, and they make really beautiful Sighthound inspired things. So there's mugs, there's just beautiful cards, so many beautiful things. And just this week, I did something embarrassing and I smashed our butter dish to the ground. It's made of glass, so it was a goner. There was just butter and glass everywhere. Then that same day, I was looking online and there's a new butter dish being released by Harriet Lowther that looks adorable. So this butter dish on the inside, when you finish the butter, it says something, if you see this, you need butter. And it's a little greyhound. I hope that we can get this. Fingers crossed. Of course, they're all handmade, so hopefully we are the first to scoop it up. But yeah.
Yeah, gotta appreciate a little greyhound, sighthound entrepreneurs out there.
Absolutely. Gotta support.
That's about all from us.
Yeah, I guess we're celebrating Adelaide's Gotcha Day with, fingers crossed, a butter dish and Colors of Sweden.
Yeah.
We really did make purchases already.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Look at that. Well, we're very excited. Adelaide, honestly, this last year, it's changed our lives. So I hope you feel the same about your little Iggy, whether it's the monstrous first few months of them being a little reckless, or maybe your Iggy is older and wise, but they are beautiful creatures. This is our celebration of Adelaide's Gotcha Day, the starting of this podcast, and we hope to be sharing lots more stories with you. I know we've got exciting topics coming up and hopefully some guests for interviews as well.
And as Adelaide leaves the frame of the video, we will sign off.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Iggy Parents. You can follow us on Instagram at The Iggy Parents.
Or find us on YouTube. Search for The Iggy Parents, and you'll find us.
This podcast is available where all podcasts are found. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye from Ryan.
And Jess.
And Adelaide.
The Iggy.